everyone. Hello, and welcome to this week's Women, Words and Wine. I'm Suzi Dafnis, and I am thrilled to be here. In just a moment, I'll be bringing on my guest. And if you are joining us for the first time, this is what's in store for you. We have a little bit of light relief. We have some practical business tips. If you are a regular, then do let me know that you are here. I love to see your comments and your questions, see what you're drinking, etc., etc. And so I'm going to bring on our guest. I'm going to say a few words about her. Firstly, Amy and I met through what was formerly the Australian Business Women's Network, which is now her business. We met probably 25 years ago in the very first year that I got involved with this organisation, and she had just moved from Melbourne to Sydney, and we met through a couple of networking events, and we then created kind of a goals group, a little bit like what many of our members do now. And we've remained friends ever since. We've travelled around the world together to different countries, and it's just my pleasure to have her here. Her name is Amy Lyden. She has over 25 years experience across business, not-for-profits, and corporate foundation sectors. And she is currently the Scholarship Program Director at Westpac Scholars Trust, which she joined 5 years ago. And this is a trust that gives over $100 million in gifts to scholars. Actually, she's going to tell us a little more about that before we dive on in to her tips, but she's a very varied and very accomplished business owner, multi-award winning business owner, started, grew, sold her business, and then moved into the not-for-profit sector. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on the line, trying to push all the buttons. Hello, Amy.
Hello. So nice to see you. How are
Welcome.
you?
I'm good. So nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Now, someone here said, I met Amy decades ago. We both won awards together.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonia.
How are you? Absolutely, we did. Yeah, that's right. And I think we did it. There was also this was many years ago, a New South Wales mentoring program or something as well. We attended a few of those workshops together. Nice to see you.
Wow. Well, Sonia is one of our awesome Her Business Network members, and she has, as you know, an award-winning business. Kat Madsen is here. Kat's in the house. She says, evening, gorgeous. I love that top on you. I'm guessing you're talking to me only because I don't. Maybe you call Amy gorgeous. She is gorgeous, but I don't know if you would be that forward. And here is the ambassador for Broome, WA, Felicity Brown from Broome. Wow. Cheers, ladies. Cheers. Speaking of cheers, I am drinking a Ballawindi Vineyard 2018 Pinot Gris. I will hold up my label here. Whoa, there it is. It's quite heavy. It actually tastes a little bit like a Chardonnay. What are you drinking, Ms. Amy?
I am drinking a red tonight because it's a little bit nippy. And mine, I don't have the bottle with me. I figured that would be a bad move.
It's in the bin. Well,
it's already gone. It's Tamblerite Lane, I believe it's called, and it's in the Hunter. It's an organic winery, and they just do beautiful wine. And I think it's a Cab Sauv, like a 2018.
Oh, it's a heavy one.
Very lovely. It's very nice.
Very lovely. Susan Wareham's here. She says, hey, lovely, what Kat said. Amanda
McLean.
Hey, Amanda.
Wow.
Hi, our partner's here as well. So welcome. If you've just joined us, what are you drinking? Pop something in the comments and let us know. Now, throughout tonight's show, you might see me put up my hands and then quickly put them away because, Amy, I have COVID nails. Look at this. Look at my COVID nails.
At least you have color on them.
Well, on that hand. Look at this hand. Look at this hand.
It's a new trend.
I'm starting a new trend.
Mine, they're terrible. They're all.
Oh, really? I'm going to go next week and get them done, but I've been refusing to sort of, get it anyway. So then I've peeled some off. It's atrocious. This is someone who always has her nails done, and I've just gone to pot. And Susan's saying, "Hi, Amy. So lovely to see you."
Hello, Susan. Nice to see you.
Yes. And Kat's saying, and yes, whilst I would have would be that forward to say hi, gorgeous, to Amy. It was specifically about your job. Hey, Cheryl. Those nails are hilarious, I know. And Cheryl saying New Zealand Fault Line Reserve. Oh, hey, Emma. Oh, my gosh, we've got so many of our great men. Emma's having a Villa Maria Sauv Blanc. I love the Villa Maria Sauv Blanc. It's one I have drunk many a time. You make you curious with all those wines. Oh, yes, I am curious about all the wines. All righty. If you've just joined us, welcome to Women, Words and Wine. My guest tonight is Amy Lyden. And I introduced you very briefly. Of course, I've known you through, from when you had been just a few years in your own business and then built that up, won multiple awards, sold the business, and then moved into a different career. Tell us about the role you have now, because I find it fascinating.
Yeah, so I'm the scholarship program director at Westpac Scholars Trust, and Westpac Scholars Trust was set up 5 years ago with a $100 million gift from Westpac. Westpac was turning 200 in the year 2017 and wanted to do something really substantial to give back to Australia, to kind of, do something for the future of Australia. And what better way than to invest in education? And so they gifted $100 million to set up the trust, and with that, a promise to award 100 scholarships a year forever. So that the scholarship program will run in perpetuity. And so, yes, I was really fortunate to come on board in the very beginning. We had no scholars. We had very little of the program design, and now we have close to 500 scholars. And it's really fantastic. And it's one of those things I just could never have planned for or thought that I would be doing if I asked myself, 20 years ago what I'd be doing.
Well, tell us about these scholars, because I know how much you love working with them. And if people aren't familiar with the program, they don't really get a sense necessarily of the impact that you're having. So who are scholars, and what sorts of things are they up to?
Yeah, so the program, we have 5 different scholarship programs. I specifically work with 2 of those programs. One of them is called the Future Leaders Scholars, and they are doing a postgraduate degree. So they're doing a PhD or a master's at an Australian university. It's a very large package that they have access to. It's worth about $120,000 all up for living expenses. Overseas experiences that they have for their research or internships. And also we have one of the things that I really love about the program and get so much from watching the scholars go through is the leadership development program. And so this is where it's a bespoke program. We invest in them. We've co-designed it with the AGSM at UNSW, ANU, and the University of Sydney Business School, and have come up with this really amazing, that's what the scholars tell us program. But to get back to your question about the scholars, my favorite part of my role is I get to hang out with these amazing young people. Most of them are quite young, much younger than I am, and they're just fantastic. They're usually, the typical, and so every year we have 17 of these that come through the program. We spend a week together doing a fully immersion leadership residential program at a offsite in a kind of removed from everything, and go through a whole range of activities and learning and development. And so the scholars themselves are doing everything from biotechnology. They're studying physics, all sorts of things and everything in between. So a lot of them are social entrepreneurs. So they're running organizations. One of my scholars this year is running a coffee company that's a sustainable coffee. It's a social business, and so she does that. She's also doing a Master of Human Rights at Sydney Uni, and just they're just really gung ho, really amazing firecrackers. Yeah. So and I learned so much from them.
And I know I've seen some of your posts and how grateful they are for the mentorship that you provide through the work that you do. But Amy's history is, and how I knew her is that, and if you own a pet, it's likely that you've bought one of Amy's products sometime in the last 20 years. She had a business that was called Bow Wow Meow, probably still called that, I'm not sure, but they make pet tags. And so I know that my dog Bella had a Bow Wow Meow pet tag for years and years and years. And so she had a couple of different brands, and she not only had a very early e-commerce store where e-commerce was a thing, but also a great content marketer, content strategist, and really not only was producing tags that she was shipping all over the country, but she was leveraging that opportunity to form really strategic partnerships and bring in other revenue income streams. And that is why she has won awards in innovation and all sorts of things. Now, inside of our community, Amy, we have a number of entrepreneurs who have launched e-commerce stores. And I know it's been a little while since you've been in that game, but I'm sure as we share a little later on, you will still have, from a strategic perspective, some things that you can help them with. Now, Kylie's saying, yay, a pet business. So Kylie is a physio by day, but she started a dog bakery with her sister 4 years ago now, I think, Kylie. So that is kind of her other pet love, kind of ironic words, but that is her business. And look, even her avatar has a picture of her dog. That's so cute. And Lynn says, my favorite organizational groups to work with are the young future leaders, always so inspiring. Hey, friend Pratt, welcome. Great to have you here. All righty. So for those of you who are regulars, you know we start off with a little bit of fun and laughter, although laughter is welcome throughout the whole night, by sharing with you some things that we found that were kind of funny or amusing for us or gave us a little bit of a kick. And so I'm going to pop up a couple of images, and Amy, I'm going to get you to speak to them, and then I've got a couple as well. Now, this one here, I surprised Amy with. Amy's giving me her selection of images, but I know Amy personally. We are good friends, and I've met her mum a number of times, and her mum is just a cack. And so she posts hilarious things on her own Facebook, and this is one of them. Now, let me know if you can relate. Had you seen this one, Amy?
Yes, and it's just hilarious. I just think it just captures perfectly the stages of quarantine. And I think I'm getting toward the last one now. It's good thing that you can only see me from the waist up or the boobs up, because it is, I call it the Corona chub, and it's happening. Just little snacks in the kitchen every day. It's terrible, but I just love this because it captures every stage.
I love it. I love the straight jacket. Now, you've been working from home for a long time, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's been, probably 6 weeks now, and probably will be, at least another few months. So
again, we were just talking about it before Amy came on, because Westpac is such a big organization. We're talking, how do you, there's thousands of people around. So she'll be doing this for a little while longer. Okay, let me just see what questions we have here. Can I get a copy of this, says Nikki. Back on up and screenshot it. And Susan says, I also saw the hunk, chunk, or drunk meme. Oh, it's how you're going to come out of COVID. Yeah, I saw that one for guys, either a hunk, chunk, or a drunk. And I think there must be an equivalent for women. Kylie's baking carob chip dog bickies while she's watching. Oh, great. And Susan's got another pet business. Oh, terrific. Oh, yes, you're in equine. I'm going to say it wrong, but yes, you work with horses, right? Awesome. So let me pop up another one of these. This one. I can't actually read that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Clothes I wear. Yeah. It's, again, the wardrobe. And like everyone else, I'm doing lots of Zoom and video conferencing, but from the waist up, again, I do have a pretty good repertoire, but the pants have been pretty much the same for 2 months.
I mean, it's where jewelry and accessories come in. Oh, the Ugg boots. I need a pair of winter shoes. That's where accessories come in, right? You can throw a shawl or whatever, and some dangly earrings, and you've got your outfit.
Yeah, I love this one too. There's a guy on Instagram. His name is Matt Shirley, and I love infographics, for everything. And he's just hilarious because he does infographics that are just so funny and so clever.
Oh, really? Would you pop his name in comments just so people can see
I
that?
will.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll do a couple of mine while we were doing that. So this is one that I saw, and this is a restaurant. It's a cafe in northeastern Germany, and they implemented this really quirky policy to encourage physical distancing. And so what they've got is they've got customers putting on colourful hats made out of swimming pool noodles that stick out in many different directions. So I don't know if you can see this. It's so ridiculous that it's cracking me up. I thought that was very funny. I haven't quite seen the equivalent in Sydney. In fact, I was not far from your place the other day, and there was no distancing. People were like this close together trying to get, a beautiful coffee from Burke Street Bakery down the road from you.
Yeah, no. Don't get in the way between them and a good croissant, right?
Or a ginger brulee. Now, I don't know. You must be being obsessed with your body right now, because this is another one from you.
I know. Yeah, I am. Can you tell? Again, this is from Matt Shirley, and I will post his Instagram address. But yeah, again, very clever, and yeah, I think I'm actually I'm getting to the red.
You are not. That's funny.
You haven't seen me.
No, I haven't. I'm going to see you soon. Carly's saying that's hilarious. Pool noodles, the ultimate accessory. Yeah. So, hello, Michelle Falzon. Good to have you here. All right. Now I've got, let me see what else I've got. What else do I have? Oh, I have this one. Hang on, let me just pop this banner. Hang on, let me just pop this comment down. Hang on a sec, Michelle. I never make the same mistake twice. I make it like 5 or 6 times, just to be sure. So I would love to know, if you're watching, what mistake have you made more than once? What mistake have you made twice and 5 and 6 times? Amy, do you have one?
Oh gosh. Yeah, it probably, this is really, it's top of mind because it just happened, is then that's leaving a piece of tissue that goes through the washing machine.
I used to do
that. In the pocket,
yeah,
not checking the pocket before it goes in. So yeah,
I used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
that's one of yours.
It's just a little one top of mind because it just happened.
I can hear it. I'm usually the culprit, but I'm lucky because these days PJ does the laundry more often than I do, and that just doesn't happen because he probably does check the pocket. Yeah. One that I do is that I do not pay attention when I'm leaving, whether it's the house or the office, whether I've put the garage door down. Michelle and I were having a laugh about this today. And so I will often go down the road, do a U-turn, come back to check if the garage door is open. And even sometimes if I think, oh, I must have closed it, surely it's just so automatic, I will still check because I just don't trust that I've done it sometimes. And I do it multiple times. And so my brain is just all over the place. At the time that I'm leaving, I'm not like, okay, check, alarm is on, door is down, go.
Do you actually leave it open, or is it just you just forget that you close it? Do you actually leave it open? I have
never actually left it open.
Yeah.
But I still go back and I check. And that's ridiculous. All right. So this is the Instagram account. I'll just pop it in the comments for everyone. And Michelle's, oh my God, that freaking garage door so many times around the block. One morning, Michelle and I were going to a conference and we get in the car. And of course, when Michelle and I are together, like when you and I are together, we just talk. And so we're in the car. We drive out. We think we've put the garage door down. We go, we get around the block, through the lights have changed. I'm like, oh, Michelle, I don't know if we put the garage door down. So let's go back. So we take the big block around. We come back down the laneway, look at the garage door, keep driving, and then go, was it down? Around the block a third time to see if the bloody garage door was down. Anyway, so it's very, very funny.
That doesn't sound like you guys at all.
So Emma's saying, trusting my teenagers to wake themselves up in the morning. Oh, that's the mistake you make, trusting your teenagers to wake themselves up. And Mary says, I do that too. I reverse up the road to check. Yeah, I've done the reverse up the road too, nearly, scrape my rims a couple of times. Oh no, says Cat. Very funny. All right, hang on. We got a couple more of these. All right, Michelle. Do you? Michelle. I'm calling you Michelle. What is this one?
Oh yes, yeah. This came out right after COVID kind of hit, and I have a very black sense of humor. I just loved it. 2021 will be our year. That's another great Insta account, dude with sign. He's pretty hilarious.
Is that the whole premise of the channel, the Instagram channel?
He's a dude
with the signs all the time. He's the dude. Is okay. So he's doing all the signs. Dude with the sign.
All the time.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. And I don't know if I did this one last week, so I'll do it very, very quickly. But I might have done it. Someone who was on last week told me, did I do this? People who wonder if the glass is half empty or half full miss the point. The glass is refillable. And on that note, I'm going to refill my glass. Now, Amy, one of the things that we do here, other than laugh a lot, is that we give people some practical tips that they can use in their business, because our audience is business owners. So I'm just going to hand on over to you. What would you like to tell us?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and one of the things that I have personally been grappling with for the last quite a few years now is information overload. Just kind of, just media. Where do I get my news? Social media. I mean, there's just so much information. Where do I start? What do I do? And I would find myself, and I'm sure, I know it happens to everyone, going down the rabbit hole of looking at something and then ending up over here, maybe trying to find something over here, and just, an hour later, that time's gone and I haven't really learned anything or done anything. And so, and I found myself, a couple of years went by, and I just thought, I'm feeling a bit kind of, particularly in the areas of learning for me, and wanting to, I love to learn, and Susie, you know that about me. I love to learn. And I was feeling, what's happening here? And I'm, realizing that all this time is going away, going down the rabbit holes, whether it's social media or whatever. And thinking about, I came across this concept of focused learning. And that's where, you have a particular goal around something, whatever it is that you want to learn about. And really just, setting up a discipline and some practices around that to learn about whatever it is you want to learn. So I've been doing this now for, maybe a year or so. And an example of this would be when coronavirus came out, and it was just so much unknown. Nobody really knew, you just had so much misinformation online about it. So I'm like, okay, I want to learn about this from credible sources, really get a handle of what exactly this is. And so that's what I did. And I really just committed to learning about it, from credible sources, World Health Organization, government sources. I've watched a heap of webinars from experts, and just informing myself, and so that for me has, and I've done that with a lot of different things. And another example in a work context is a couple of years ago or late last year, we were redesigning one of our programs for researchers. And I'm not an academic. I don't have an academic background. I never worked in a university. But I had to go, and working on very short timeframes, I had to put a proposal together for the board in 2 months' time for what I would recommend for the design of this new program, and how we could support early career researchers. So again, it's that focused, energy on one area, and I think, and that's what I did. I just really. It wasn't just about reading and doing desktop research, but actually interviewing, talking. I was on the phone constantly with different people. So I think that's, for me, it's around, and it could even be, and I do this as well, a development goal. So a focused development goal. It could be that, okay, I want to be a better presenter or a better public speaker. and really, not just and really being disciplined about what it is how you're spending your time, what you're reading, just, I guess, limiting kind of the trolling through the feeds and really trying to utilize that time to focus on something that you're actually going to get something out of, and going a bit deeper. Because I found that when I wasn't doing that, I just felt I wasn't being fulfilled. So so for me, that just that, having that goal and creating the discipline and then the practices around it, really has been helpful. And I actually learned that, or part of that, with one of my scholars a few years ago, one of our future leaders, and he's an amazing guy, was doing a master's of bioinformatics at UQ, and he's now doing a PhD at Cambridge. But anyway, we were at the leadership development program in Canberra, and I went down early for breakfast, and he was sitting in the corner reading a book, and I went over and just said, "Oh, hi, Michael, how you going?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm good. What are you reading?" And he said, "Oh, I'm reading, Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow." I went, "Oh," because I assumed he was probably working on some coursework or something. And he said, "Oh no, I really want to learn about the system, the two systems in your brain, how you think fast and slow, and how you for decision making." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." And he said, I do this every morning I wake up early, and I do an hour where I just concentrate on something that's outside of my business and something completely different. This is what I'm doing now." So, and I just, it's in his calendar. He does it. He's disciplined about it. And then but it's something separate. I think that's the key, is it's something separate from what he would normally be doing, through his normal studies.
And I love that. One of the things that I know about you, Amy, is that we do have a shared love of knowledge and learning. And one of the things that, just to speak to what you're saying there, that I know that you've always done, whether it is about public speaking or whatever, is that you've always sought out mentors and experts, and you have been willing to pay to get the support that you need. So you're not trawling through the Googles to find what you need. You actually are very strategic about, well, who has been down this path before. Can you tell us how you approach that when you do want to learn something new? How do you approach it? I mean, obviously reading is one thing.
Yeah, I think it's doing research. I think a lot is even thinking about who in your network, or not even necessarily in your network, who do you know that that does that really well, or that knows there is an expert in that area, and having a chat to them as well, and looking at organizations. Right now, again, I'm interested in what's going on globally, and at the moment, the kind of economic recovery and what's being done around some of the stimulus packages and things that are happening globally. And so, and I mean, right now, there's just so much available where we can actually hear, because of everything's online now. We have access to amazing global experts, not only in what I'm interested in, but it really is. I mean, it's a scary time, but it's actually quite an amazing opportunity right now, because it's bringing everything really close. And so, seeking out those, whether it's an organization that offers those, and it could be, and there's just so much happening in this space. So I think it is about identifying, who are the people, who are the organizations that, can offer that for you.
Just looking here at Louise's comment, she says, "I think that disciplines are top of mind now, as there are so many bombardments and distractions. This was so notable during C19. There were more emails and adverts sent to us than in any other time, and if you didn't concentrate, it was mind-numbing." Yeah.
It is, and I think,
Did you want to say something about that?
Just it comes down to focus, I think, and that I struggle with that like everyone else, and but I think that that is the key to success in whatever it is that you're trying to do. So trying to find those strategies to be able to let you do that is so important.
Thank you. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and pop them in comments and I'll pop them up on the screen and Amy can answer them. Mickey's in the house. Mickey likes to join us about now and make funny comments. So we'll be waiting for your funny. No pressure. And he says, great question. And Annie also says, I'm in the right community, Laughing and Wine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All righty, great. We've just focus and presence, being present to whatever you're doing now. Yes. That takes a lot. That actually takes a lot of discipline, a lot of discipline. It's much easier to be, the person who's driving around the block 3 times because she hasn't noticed if she's put the garage door down. Not sure what that meant. We're shut out and gone on with it. We've just shut out. Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but let me know if I need to know about that. Thank you so much. So that's great. Anything else you wanted to say there, Amy?
I guess the other part of that is around what, who you surround yourself with. And obviously everyone here tonight knows that this is a great organization with great women. And I think that's just so important to, be mindful. I mean, we spend so much time worrying about what we're putting into our bodies and what we're feeding our bodies. And it's so important to make sure we feed our minds and our, emotional and our spirit with, good things and good people. And I think and communities like this one is, where you have that supportive network is just fantastic.
Amanda is saying, these comments are coming in thick and fast. Amen to this being a time of opportunity, Amy, a time to create something different, a way of being in work-home life. Let's stick together on this vision. Yeah, absolutely. So good to have you here, Amanda. You've been in my thoughts a lot, so I'm so glad to see you here. Selena says, Amy, do you know what is your next focus of learning?
Probably... Yeah, I think it's around just staying on top of, I get what Amanda was referring to, is just, I think that we're at a really interesting time right now where that things are going to change dramatically, and staying on top of, I guess, what is happening, current trends, just feeding my mind with all of, being on top of what's happening globally. For example, Facebook recently announced they're going to have permanent remote workers, but they're going to be adjusting their salaries based on the cost of living to where the employee lives. So, that's like a fundamental shift. I mean, it's clever as a business because you're going to lower your costs. It's just so I just wonder, and also, just thinking more about what are the implications of what's happening on even for example, more people working from home, real estate prices. Are real estate prices going to drop in closer into the city and go up in, say, desirable places that would be too far to commute normally? So so I guess my next area of learning is keeping on top of those, reading more about those sorts of trends around, because I do think we are in a really and it is a great opportunity right now to be in business and in the whole online space at the moment, because it's all happening now.
A couple of comments. Her business women rock. Thank you, Mickey. And Amanda has just joined, but you're going to love Amanda's handle here. Fitzroy J. Flasher. She made it.
Great. I love the avatar too.
I know. Look at the avatar. It's hilarious. Have you done your avatar yet on Facebook? Have you created it?
I did, and it just didn't look anything like me. So.
And Mickey says, I've been feeding my body with wine, working wonders so far.
Yeah.
Funny. All right, Amanda's being sensible. She says a healthy digital diet is needed. Yes. I've heard commercial property markets are dropping. Well, as an owner of commercial property, it's a very interesting time, I can say. But and because PJ and I invest in real estate, people will often ask us for real estate advice, and I think that it's just going to be interesting to watch. But if you are interested, like, I think you want to be paying attention. But you have to be really clear what your strategy is and what it is that you're wanting to get either into or out of when it comes to real estate. Cheryl's saying, let's get the borders open between Australia and New Zealand. I'm up for that. Yeah, why not? Mickey says, this time has been an amazing focus time for us and our business has boomed. Walking and talking daily has been an amazing focus time. Taking the time to breathe and refocus has been surprisingly great. I love that. Those rituals that we have had the opportunity to introduce to our lives that wouldn't normally be there. I think that's fascinating. And I'm so happy for you, Mickey and Amanda, for your business, for you to have had that opportunity. Lynn says, gorgeous, I need to go somewhere. That's about New Zealand. Well, you know what? Felicity will vote for going to Broome, won't you, Felicity? Have you been to Broome, Amy?
No, I'd love to go.
I really want to go. Me too. Well, Felicity is one of our members, and I'm giving her a bit of a hard time. She's a milliner. She makes hats, and beautiful hats, and she's in Broome, and she'll often introduce herself as Felicity from Broome. And I'm like, you are like the mayor. She's amazing. Yeah. And Annie's saying, let's open New South Wales, Queensland border to start. Yeah, I think we're ready for all the borders. Kat says, yes, real estate markets are changing, but they're not necessarily predictable. I suspect the rules might change a bit. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, and Amanda's saying, Broome for Reach. Reach is our retreat that we do in Hawaii. Yeah. Amanda's voting for it to be Broome. Oh, and Felicity, yeah, she's saying, I'd vote for all of you to come. Very good. Yeah, they won't let us in at the moment, Felicity. We'll just have to wait a little bit. Reach 2020, Broome. No, Reach is now 2021, Hawaii, May. Put it on your calendars.
May.
Queenstown would be perfect. Amanda Fryer, hello. Amanda has a wonderful educational program for people with diabetes. Yes, Queenstown. I've never been to Queenstown, and I'd love to go. Broome is amazing. Lots of votes for Broome. All righty. So just following up from what Amy said, yes, agree with all of that. I find that if I want to learn something new, whether it is something to do with online marketing, whether it is how to be a better public speaker, whatever, it takes that focused time. And for me, my understanding your style of learning, I think, is very important. And for me, I learn by doing something, and I learn better in one-on-one, like a personal training, something. So whether I want to improve my voice for my podcast, or whether I want to learn how to do media for television or whatever, I work best in that one-on-one, or for gym training, I work really well in that one-on-one kind of coaching environment. So it's really knowing what works for you. And I listen to podcasts, all of that, but I'm best like with courses and coaching, and that's what really works for me. All righty. As we're coming up into the second half of our show for tonight, we like to talk a little bit inspiration, a little bit personal development. And this is a topic that I touched on last week on the show, and that I've been looking more into this week. And Amy, this is about the idea of trusting yourself more. And it came as a result of a friend, someone Jane Johnson, did a video about a week ago talking about trusting yourself, and how when the world is sort of turning upside down, how it's more important than ever to really trust the skills you have, the experience you have, your intuition, your intelligence. All those things are things that you can rely on to make decisions that will move you forward, even if you look outside the window and it looks like the world is in chaos. And so when we acknowledge our skills and our experience and our knowledge and our intelligence, we can really open up doors to ourselves. And trusting ourselves is so important when it comes to taking the next step, because each of us is bigger than anything that happens in our life. Anything. Who we really are, the you that is watching this, the you that is not the skin and bones, that is not the brunette, that is not the, whatever age you are, the you that perceives what is happening, that is bigger. And those of you who've been to Reach, understand exactly what I'm saying, but I think you all understand what I'm saying. That you is bigger than anything that happens in your life. And so you have an infinite capacity to create a new reality for yourself and to find solutions and get answers and start anew, no matter what life has tossed your way over the last few months. And Amy, earlier this week, I did a post inside of our members' Facebook group, and I said, finish this sentence. If I was to trust myself more, I would. And members responded with all sorts of things from I would stop procrastinating, I would speak up more, I would take more risks, I would travel by myself, I would move to the other side of the world and work from my laptop. And it was all these big dreams that people were sitting on. And some of them weren't big dreams, but they were like, I would raise my prices. You know, a couple of people said I would charge more, or I would stop giving away everything for free, and I would actually make more offers. And this was just so enlightening to me, because it got me thinking, where do I not trust myself? And for me, Amy, it shows up sometimes where I'm not sure if I put the garage door down, but also sometimes when I have to make a big decision, I might ask a number of people for their opinion before I trust what was often my guidance initially, like that first gut feel of what I should do. And so one of the things that I'm practicing, if we think about that focused attention, is when I need to make a decision, to trust that I know that I have a lot of experience, that even if I make a mistake and I make a misstep and I make the wrong decision, that I can make another decision. And no matter what, I'm going to learn something. And so I think about the new bold moves as much about it as experiments than as anything else, because an experiment just by its nature may not go right. It's an experiment. It's a study. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And it kind of takes the pressure off. And so there are a couple of things that I wanted to say, but I did want to get your thoughts on is there anything that comes to mind for you and anyone who's watching around what, if you trusted yourself more, what might you do?
Yeah, I think, look, and I just thank you for saying all that. I just could so relate to what you were saying. And I think for me, and I've always struggled. I go through periods where I just, have imposter syndrome. I, just get really nervous about, and I think, I'm 50 something years old. I've got to, I have a lot of experience. I've done a lot of good things. But I there are many times when I have to talk myself up, it feels like that. And, I have a confidence crisis. I go through that every so often. Even now I do. And so, yeah, I think it is, for me, it comes down to, I guess fueling my soul. And I say that in a way that if I know that if I'm looking after myself, for me, that looks like getting out into nature, journaling, reading poetry sometimes, whatever it might be, connecting with friends like you that love me and support me and see the best in me. That builds me up. And I think just knowing what the mechanism is to kind of get me back on track is, and practicing that, yeah. And I think that's, yeah, but if and also I try to ask myself, because I'll say whatever it might be, I can't do that, or maybe that's not possible. I'll try to say, well, what if it was possible? What would it look like? Yeah.
That's a great question. Because it opens up possibilities. But the moment we say that's not possible, there's nowhere for opportunity to come in. There's nowhere for inspiration to come in. But when we ask, what if, or how did you say it? What if it was possible? Is that what you said? Yeah. Then our mind will start to seek out answers. Well, maybe this or maybe that. And if we don't take it all seriously, then you don't know what inspiration might come in. And I'm a big champion of me, and I think it's so important to have friends around you who see your potential, who are there to say, just back yourself, just trust yourself. You can totally do this. I'm just going to look at a couple of these comments. And Mickey says, OMG, trusting yourself is so hard, but when you do and take the leap, it gives you such rich rewards. Yeah, absolutely. And he says, trust equals heart plus mind alignment. Yes, it's like that, being totally connected. And Mickey says, when you do take the leap and trust yourself, you find yourself setting your own known limits that we're hiding. And Ginny says, traveling alone to the other side of the world, no biggie for me, raising my prices, eek, right? And it's such an individual thing, right? Lynn has no problem traveling to the other side of the world on her own, right? But when it comes to raising her prices, that's the big confront. And so trusting yourself, knowing that your knowledge is so valuable, Lynn, and there are people out there for whom the transformation that you can create is life-changing. When you can back yourself up for that. And sometimes it might take having a structure, sometimes, and Michelle, who's on, he's been a big champion of mine for trusting myself more, knowing that, I have the experience, I have the ability, and some of you all know this, those of you, and like Amy, who's been around our organization for many years, I never used to be the face of the organization. I was kind of the great conduit for bringing amazing people together, but I wasn't on our website and I wasn't sharing my own knowledge and experience. And it is through starting to trust that, I've been in business 20-something years. There's probably some knowledge that I have. I've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. Maybe I can train some people on how I did that. Maybe I can take them behind the scenes of what's worked for me, and just, trusting ourselves. Thanks for being so authentic. Lynn says, and learning to spell. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. And excellent, Amy, she says. And Kat says, for me, meditation and yoga has really helped me to trust myself more because it gives me space to connect. And yes, asking people who love me for honest insight is gold. Yes, yes, yes. And Annie says, have you read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule? Sometimes it's trusting the first. I've got it in my Audible account. I have not read it, but the premise I understand is that first thing that comes to you is being able to trust that intuition. And someone, I don't know where it was telling me about a book called Intuition on Demand, which I really want to read. If you've read it, let me know. Have you read that one, Amy?
Sorry, I got Intuition on here. I'm sorry, I'm just being distracted.
Hi,
Sorry.
You're live on Facebook.
No, I haven't. We're live. No, I haven't read that one. No, I haven't heard of that one either. So have to put that one on my list.
Amanda says, increasing our prices sees it as a challenge to beat, and she nails it. Shocks me. Oh, Mickey's saying about Amanda says sees increasing our prices as a challenge to beat, and so she nails it. Good. That's a great partner. Selena says, I've surrounded myself with amazing young people. Their enthusiasm is contagious. And Kat says, I so love that you're more the face of the organization. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
And Amanda says, trusting to me is following your gut and trusting if it goes wrong, it is a hiccup, not a catastrophe. Yes. And that's exactly it. So often it's things we can recover from, but we sometimes make it to be such a big thing that we do not trust that all that's going to happen is that we're going to learn more, not less. And Buckminster Fuller, who was an American inventor, died probably 30 years ago now, more than that. He said, you cannot learn less, you can only learn more. And that is so true. No matter what, you're going to learn, you're going to be smarter for the experience. And likely, if it's not going to kill you, and we don't even know, maybe that's not a bad thing, I don't know, but if it's not going to kill you, in most cases, raising your prices or stopping procrastinating or taking that trip on the other side of the world, it's really what we make up in our head that it might mean. And in actuality, if we just backed ourselves, it could be something totally different.
And Michelle says, I think Suzi, go ahead.
Sorry, go. We'll read that in a second. Okay.
I was just going to say, in terms of like getting out there, doing things, and failing or perceived failure, beating yourself up, whatever, it's about also what I have found really powerful is, when you're talking about learning, is that reflection piece is so important for me anyway, to really, whatever the experience is, even if it was something that didn't turn out, whatever, it's a learning. So, but to really actually process that. And for me, it's writing it down, what did I learn? What am I getting out of this? And actually going through the emotion of that. And that's, for me, that's how I learn, and it, stays with me more.
Yeah. Well, one of the rituals
allowing that time.
I don't know if you still, but one of the rituals that Amy and I, we'd used to get together at the beginning of the year, and we'd sit and we would review all the things we achieved and all the things that, we failed at the previous year. And, that was a ritual we used to have. We haven't done that for ages.
We need to do that. What happened?
What happened? Michelle says, yes. Go, Susie. Go, Amy. You're too beautiful.
Oh, Michelle.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, we're going to have to screenshot that one. Just smile really nicely, really quickly. I'm going to screenshot that one. Hang on. Ready? We're going to be a big guffaw with our open mouth. 5-second rule is why I joined her business and started painting classes. Best decisions I've made in a long time. Yay!
Wow.
Love it. Felicity says, you never fail. You may be led in another direction, but you never fail. And Kat says, I say that all the time. Can't learn less. And Mickey says, absolutely, Felicity. It all turns into a learning. Some just a bit harder than others, but opens up a new street to go down. Yes, some of the learnings are really hard. Some of them are very expensive. I've had some very expensive learnings, but, there's stories to tell, and it just takes me in a different direction. And the other thing I wanted to say is just a really quick thing. Many, many years ago, I did a personal development course, and one of the things they taught in that is how to build trust. And it was a course that was kind of about business and personal development. And they said that the way you build trust is to make agreements and keep them. And so when I say I'm going to show up, at 10 o'clock to an appointment, I show up. When I say, our staff reviews are going to be on the 1st of June, they're on the 1st of June. When I say I'm going to deliver that project to the client on that day, I deliver that client to that day, right? When I say to the kids, okay, yes, we're going to go to the park at 2 p.m., we go at 2 p.m., right? So every time we make an agreement and we keep it, we're building up trust with other people. Now, how do we apply that to ourselves? What can we do to trust ourselves more? It starts with making small agreements that you will keep for yourself. So if it's about your new morning ritual and what you want to do is you want to learn XYZ, can you trust yourself to show up and just read 10 pages in the morning, right? While you're having your coffee. If you want to speak up more, or you want to be a better speaker, can you trust yourself to just take that first step, which might be contacting Kat, right? And saying, Kat, I want to learn to be a public speaker. Can you help me? Right? Just making little agreements with yourself and keeping them, because for all the agreements that we can make with everyone else, our team and our partners and our children and whatever, it's the agreements we make and we don't keep with ourselves that I think corrode, our trust in ourselves. And so even it's the little things, what is it that you want? What small agreement can you make with yourself? Okay. Is that useful to anyone?
Totally.
I'm just saying thanks, guys. And she's saying, be realistic too. If you cannot deliver, don't promise. Yeah, right. And that's easy to do. And Kat says, beautiful friend, Susie, build trust with yourself is just the same way you build trust with others. It is. Making agreements to ourselves and keeping them is huge. Whether that is, I'm going to go for a run on Sunday morning. When I say I'm going to go for a run on Sunday morning, which is something I like to do, and I don't go, I will beat myself up. And so I go, well, how do I hack that? Okay, can I trust myself to put the shoes out by the door so when I wake up I see them? Yes, I can trust myself to do that. Okay, and likely if I do that, I'm going to take the next step, which, by the way, you've been running. How's that going?
Very slow, but I have been probably for 2 months. And yeah, when I first started working from home, and I was going a bit stir crazy after about 2 weeks, and I said, okay. So yeah, every morning I've been out very slow jogging, not anything. It was really funny. The other day I was out running, and I listened to my podcast. And I passed this guy, and this, he's kind of disheveled and, looked like he'd been out on the town for a while all night, and he said, "Get those knees up." Okay. So that's how I run. Not with my knees up.
Get those knees up, Amy. Get those knees up. Oh,
but yes, I
good.
have been running every morning about 4K.
Wow, that's fantastic. Every morning. See, you're developing a habit. That's fantastic. All right. Mickey says, showing up and actually being there gives rewards, which sometimes don't reveal themselves until later. You need to reflect on those moments. Yeah, absolutely. That is pretty much our show for tonight. So, Amy, what would you like to leave us with?
Yeah, what comes up to me right now is just what a great community this is. I've so enjoyed this. It's been really lovely. And yeah, I think each and every one of you are amazing, and really, I'm feeling much gratitude right now. So, Suzi and all of you have created this amazing community of women, and your knowledge and support of each other. It's fantastic. So
thank you.
That's what I feel like saying.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank Amy for being my guest and sharing a glass of wine and her amazing wisdom and humor. Dark as it is sometimes, I love it. And to all of you for showing up and commenting and chiming in and supporting each other. Thank you so, so much. It's been my pleasure to be here. I'm off to have a little bit of dinner. Enjoy the rest of your night. Lovely to see you, Amy, and spend time with you. Yes, it was. Thank you, Amy, for your time tonight. I love this community, says Nikki. Thank you, Susan. And thanks, ladies, says Carly Marks. Thank you, everybody. Good night. See you soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.